I asked my neighbor, "I have a date, can you help me?" She said, "You really don't see I like you." He had practiced this date in his mind for days, rehearsing small talk and jokes, trying to make sure he would seem confident, charming, and, most importantly, interesting. Yet every time he thought he had it right, doubt crept in. He wasn't naturally good at these things. Social cues often slipped past him, and he worried that his awkward pauses would make the date a disaster. He glanced at his phone. It buzzed with reminders from the dating app. "Your date starts in 30 minutes." The words made his stomach tighten. He sighed. "I need help," he muttered to himself. "Someone who actually understands this human stuff." That someone, he realized, was his neighbor, Ilara Jensen. Ilara lived next door in the apartment beside his. She was brilliant, witty, and, well, Alex wasn't exactly sure how to describe her. She was the type of person who seemed calm and in control of everything, the kind who noticed the small details everyone else missed. She also had a habit of teasing him about his obliviousness, which he pretended not to notice, but secretly he found it kind of endearing. Taking a deep breath, he pressed the intercom button. "Hey, Ilara, you there?" A crackle of static, then her familiar voice answered. "I'm here, what is it now? Another problem with your robot vacuum?" "No, not this time," Alex said, shifting on his feet. I have a date tonight and I need some help." There was a pause. Alex's heart started to beat faster. Then she said almost teasingly, "You really don't see, do you?" He frowned. "See what?" "You need help because you don't know what you're doing." "Again," she said with a slight laugh. "Come over. I'll help you, though I'm starting to think you like making this harder for yourself." Relieved, Alex grabbed his jacket and headed next door. Ilara's apartment was neat, almost clinical, but with small touches of warmth, plants in the corner, shelves of books, and a few scattered gadgets she clearly worked on. Alex had always admired her ability to mix intellect with comfort. "Sit," she said, motioning to the small couch. She had already pulled up a tablet. "Okay, spill it. Who's the lucky person?" Alex fidgeted, feeling a little ridiculous. It's Mia. She's amazing. Smart, funny, she likes sci-fi too, and I think I really like her." Ilara raised an eyebrow. "And you need me to fix your what? Social skills?" "Pretty much," Alex admitted. "I don't want to mess this up." Ilara smirked, swiping through a few screens on the tablet. "All right, first lesson, don't overthink everything. Overthinking is a human problem, but it's also your problem. You have natural charm, trust it, or at least try." Alex laughed nervously. "Easy for you to say." "You're going to need more than words," Ilara said, leaning back and folding her arms. "I've set up a few exercises. Think of them as social simulations. Nothing too crazy, just small things to get you in the right mindset." She handed him the tablet. A simple app opened. Virtual scenarios appeared, greeting someone at a cafe, responding to a joke, asking about their hobbies. Alex was skeptical, but he followed along. At first, it felt strange. Talking to a virtual character wasn't the same as talking to a real person. He stumbled over sentences, laughed awkwardly at the wrong times, and almost panicked when a simulated Mia laughed at a joke he hadn't intended. Ilara watched carefully. "Stop worrying about perfection," she said. "Focus on connection. People respond to attention, curiosity, and honesty, not rehearsed lines." Alex nodded. "Okay, I think I understand, but what if I say something dumb?" "You probably will," she said. "And that's fine. People like authenticity. You don't have to be perfect." Humans have this incredible ability to forgive and respond positively when someone is genuine. He blinked. "Really?" "Yes," she said firmly. "Even when the universe gives you gadgets, apps, or advice, nothing beats being human." For the next hour, they ran through scenarios. Alex made mistakes and Ilara laughed, not in a mean way, but in a way that made him feel safe. She pointed out where he could pause, smile, or make eye contact. She offered tips for subtle humor and gentle compliments, explaining why each worked. "You know," she said casually, "you're improving faster than I expected. You might actually survive this date. Alex grinned, feeling a rare confidence beginning to bloom. Thanks, Alara. I really appreciate this. Don't mention it, she said, though her tone carried a softness Alex wasn't sure he fully understood. Just remember what I said. Focus on her, not the instructions. Humans notice attention, not perfection. He nodded, absorbing the advice. Then, as he started to leave, he paused at the door. Hey, Alara, she looked up. Yes, he hesitated. Do you ever get nervous about talking to someone you like? Alara raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. You think I'm perfect. Everyone gets nervous. Humans are complicated, Alex laughed. I guess so. Thanks again. I'll try not to mess it up. You'll do fine, she said, her voice lighter than before. But maybe next time, pay attention to who's actually helping you. Sometimes the person right there isn't just a neighbor. Alex froze, processing her words. Wait, what do you mean? Alara just smiled, a faint, knowing smile. I'll explain later. Now go, make your date memorable. He left, heart racing, carrying with him not just tips for his date but a small spark of something else, curiosity about Alara herself. Walking back to his apartment, he felt different, less anxious, more human. He realized that despite all the apps, advice, and simulations, the thing that would matter most tonight was simple, being himself. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. The evening air was crisp, carrying the faint smell of rain from earlier in the day. Alex stepped out of his apartment, heart thumping in rhythm with his nervous footsteps. He had spent the last hour pacing, rehearsing greetings, jokes, and casual questions he could ask Mia. His mind replayed Alara's advice. Focus on attention, not perfection. Be genuine. Trust your instincts. Yet even with her guidance, doubt crept in. What if I stumble? What if I say something awkward? He muttered under his breath. As he walked toward the cafe, he checked his reflection in the shiny window of a closed shop. His hair was slightly messy, but in a natural way, not staged, not perfect. Maybe that would work in his favor. Arriving at the cafe, Alex spotted Mia sitting at a small table by the window. Her smile lit up the corner, warm and genuine, as if she had been waiting for him, expecting him to arrive exactly on time. Hey, Mia, Alex said, taking a deep breath, smiling in the way Alara had suggested, open, relaxed, and confident. Hey, Alex, Mia replied. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. I was starting to wonder if you get lost on the way, Alex chuckled. Well, I did take a wrong turn once, but I managed to find my way. His nerves eased slightly as the two of them settled into the small, cozy cafe. The first few minutes were tentative. Alex asked questions he had prepared, hobbies, favorite books, and movies. Mia laughed at his jokes, sometimes gently correcting him when he exaggerated. She had a way of making him feel comfortable, as if imperfections weren't flaws but little quirks that made him interesting. Midway through their conversation, Alex remembered one of Alara's tips: use small details to show attention. He leaned forward slightly and said, You mentioned last time you like Starship novels. Which one is your favorite? Mia's eyes brightened. Oh, definitely The Last Horizon. The world building is amazing and the characters feel so real. Alex smiled. I agree. The way the author describes the planets makes it feel like you're actually exploring them. It's almost like being an astronaut without leaving your chair. The conversation flowed more naturally than he had expected. Laughter came easily, and Alex began to forget the weight of his own anxiety. He realized that connecting with someone wasn't about following a checklist. It was about being genuinely curious and responding honestly. As the evening progressed, they decided to take a walk along the nearby park. The city lights reflected off the wet pavement, giving the streets a soft glow. Alex tried to keep the conversation light, but he also wanted to show his playful side, a side he often hid behind his caution. So, do you believe in coincidences? Alex asked, glancing sideways at her. Mia tilted her head, considering. Sometimes. But I think some things are meant to happen, like meeting someone unexpected. She smiled, and Alex felt his chest tighten slightly. He laughed nervously. Unexpected is good. I like the unexpected. They walked in silence for a few moments, comfortable in each other's presence. Alex's mind wandered briefly to Alara. She said to focus on attention, not perfection. He realized that he had been doing exactly that with Mia. He was present, listening, responding, being human. Yet the thought of Alara also brought an odd warmth to his chest. He pushed it aside, focusing instead on the person in front of him. "Do you come to this park often?" Alex asked. "Sometimes," Mia said. "I like walking here after a long day. The lights, the quiet, it helps me think." Alex nodded. "I get that." There's something comforting about familiar places. As they strolled, Alex noticed Mia shivering slightly. Without thinking, he offered his jacket. "Here, take this." Mia hesitated. "Are you sure?" "Positive," Alex said. "It's not that cold, but well, it's warm enough for two." She smiled, slipping the jacket on. Alex felt a small, unexpected thrill. Small gestures, he realized, had big impacts. He had seen this in Alara's simulations but never realized it in real life. The park was nearly empty. The distant hum of the city made the night feel intimate. Alex felt bold and decided to take a small risk, one of Alara's suggestions he had saved for the right moment. "You know," he began, "I really enjoy talking with you. It's easy, comfortable, like I don't have to try too hard." Mia looked at him, her expression softening. "I feel the same way, Alex. You're unexpectedly genuine." Unexpectedly genuine. The words made Alex's heart leap. He realized he didn't need to perform, impress, or overthink. Being himself was already enough. They continued walking, talking about dreams and the future, discovering small shared interests. A love for old sci-fi movies, the habit of people watching on rainy days, and even a fascination with unexplored technology. At one point, Mia paused, pointing at a small fountain in the park, its water reflecting the streetlights. "It's beautiful, isn't it? Simple things like this make the city feel alive." Alex nodded. "It's amazing how much we can miss when we're not paying attention. I think humans have this unique way of noticing details others overlook. That's pretty special." Mia smiled again, clearly enjoying the conversation. "You really think that way?" "I do," Alex said. "Sometimes I forget to notice the small things, but when I do, it feels incredible, makes you appreciate life." The conversation turned toward more personal topics, hopes, fears, and the little quirks that made them who they were. Alex found himself sharing things he rarely told anyone, and Mia did the same. The connection felt real, authentic, and profoundly human. After some time, they found a quiet bench near the edge of the park and sat, looking at the lights reflecting on the water. Alex felt a wave of calm he hadn't expected. The anxiety from earlier had faded, replaced by a sense of presence and genuine connection. "You know," Mia said softly, "I didn't expect tonight to feel like this. Comfortable, exciting, and real all at once." Alex smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest. "That's the best kind of surprise." For a few moments, neither spoke. The city buzzed quietly around them, but in their little corner of the park, time seemed slower. Alex realized something important. Human connection in its purest form wasn't something an app or algorithm could teach. It was about attention, empathy, and courage, the kind Alara had encouraged him to embrace. As the night drew to a close, Mia glanced at her watch. "I should head home soon," she said reluctantly. Alex nodded. "Of course, but I'd love to see you again, if you'd like." Mia's eyes sparkled. "I'd like that." They walked back toward the city streets, exchanging light conversation and laughter. When they reached her apartment, Mia turned to him. "Thank you for tonight, Alex. It was really wonderful." Alex smiled. "No, thank you. I had a great time." Before Mia could say anything else, Alex remembered one final piece of advice from Alara. Small gestures of human care often spoke louder than words. He offered her a simple, sincere hand squeeze, a gesture of warmth and reassurance. Mia blushed slightly but returned the gesture. "Good night, Alex," she said. "Good night, Mia," Alex replied. He watched her disappear inside and then turned toward his own apartment, feeling a strange mix of elation and calm. The night had gone better than he ever imagined. As he walked, his thoughts inevitably drifted back to Alara. She helped me, not just with tips but with understanding how to be human. I wonder, does she even realize how much he shook his head, smiling to himself. It was too soon to think about that. Right now, he focused on one truth. Tonight had been a success because he had embraced humanity, authenticity, and the courage to connect. Reaching his apartment, Alex paused at the door. The city lights flickered around him, and he realized something simple yet profound. Sometimes, human ingenuity and emotion, genuine care, curiosity, and attention were more powerful than any technology. That was the true HFY moment. And as he stepped inside, a small, playful thought crossed his mind. I wonder what Alara will say when I tell her everything. He smiled, knowing that some stories, some connections, only humans could truly experience. And tonight had been a reminder of exactly that. The next morning, Alex woke up with a lightness in his chest he hadn't felt in a long time. The memory of the previous night, the laughter, the quiet moments in the park, Mia's smile, replayed in his mind like a gentle melody. He had expected nerves, awkwardness, and a fair bit of fumbling, but instead the night had been easy, natural, and somehow perfect. Yet despite the joy from his date, one thought lingered persistently. Alara. He had been so focused on Mia during the evening that he hadn't noticed the quiet pull of curiosity and warmth toward his neighbor. The realization came slowly, like sunlight creeping through a window. Alex could still remember Alara's teasing smile, her faint blush when he had asked about human nerves, and her encouragements that had guided him more than any app or advice ever could. "Maybe she likes me," Alex muttered aloud, half to himself. The thought startled him, but he couldn't deny the signs. She had spent hours preparing him for the date, paying attention to every small detail, and yet she had done it with that playful, almost secretive smile. He shook his head. "No, that's impossible, she's just being helpful." But the idea refused to leave. By late morning, Alex found himself pacing in his apartment, phone in hand, debating whether to send Mia a message. Should he tell her he had a wonderful time? Should he ask her out again? His thumb hovered over the screen and finally he typed a simple message. "Hey Mia, I just wanted to say I had a really great time last night. Would you like to meet again sometime this week?" He hesitated, then hit send. Within minutes, a reply appeared. "I'd love that, Alex." "How about Thursday evening?" Alex grinned, relief and excitement washing over him. Thursday wasn't far, and now he had a few days to process everything that had happened, and maybe think about Alara too. By afternoon, he decided to visit her apartment. He needed answers, at least to understand why he felt so drawn to her lately. Knocking lightly, he heard her familiar voice. "Come in." Alara's apartment smelled faintly of coffee and lavender. She was sitting at her desk, typing rapidly, a small headset over one ear, clearly immersed in some experiment. She looked up and her eyes lit up when she saw him. "Alex, what brings you here?" she asked, lifting the headset. Alex hesitated. I just wanted to say thanks again for last night, for all of it. I mean, you really helped me more than I expected." Alara shrugged, smiling modestly. "It was nothing. I just wanted to make sure you didn't completely ruin your date." Alex chuckled, but then his expression grew serious. "It was more than that, Alara. You really helped me understand something. About being human, about connecting, about noticing things. You made me realize I can actually do this, be present, be genuine. And I think I owe a lot of that to you." Alara's eyes softened, and for a moment Alex caught a glimpse of something he hadn't seen before, a quiet vulnerability, a subtle affection that made his heart skip a beat. "Alex," she began, then paused, choosing her words carefully. You know, sometimes people are closer than we realize. You focus on one thing, one opportunity, and you don't see what's right in front of you. Alex frowned. What do you mean? Alara leaned back in her chair, folding her arms. I mean, you really don't see me, not fully. Not yet, Alex blinked, confusion mixed with a strange, thrilling hope. Wait, what are you saying? Her lips curved into a small, teasing smile. I'm saying that sometimes the person helping you the most is also the one you've been overlooking. The words sank in slowly. Alex's mind raced. Could it be Alara? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. He had been so focused on Mia that he hadn't even considered the neighbor who had been quietly guiding him, caring for him, and spending so much time noticing every detail about him. He opened his mouth, then closed it, unsure how to respond. Alara chuckled softly, breaking the tension. You're thinking too hard, she said, standing up and walking over. Humans complicate things, but sometimes you just need to look, really look. Alex's heart raced. He wanted to reach out, to bridge the invisible distance that had been there for so long, but fear made him hesitate. What if he misread her? What if this was just her way of being supportive? Alara seemed to read his thoughts. She reached out, lightly touching his arm. Look, Alex, I like you. I have for a while. And yes, I helped you with your date because I wanted to see you happy. But maybe, secretly, I hoped you'd notice me too. Alex's chest tightened. The words were simple, unembellished, but the truth in them made him ache with longing. He realized that all this time, Alara had been right there, supportive, attentive, and quietly affectionate. I didn't realize, he admitted, voice soft. I guess I was so focused on other things that I didn't see you. I never noticed, but now I do. And I like you too, Alara. Her eyes widened slightly, and a soft smile spread across her face. Finally, she said, shaking her head playfully, it took you long enough. They laughed together, a mixture of relief, joy, and nervous excitement. The air between them felt charged with something new, an understanding that had been there all along, waiting for recognition. I don't want to rush anything, Alex said, his voice calm but earnest. But I think we should explore this, see where it goes. Alara nodded. I'd like that, and for what it's worth, I think Mia will understand too. She's smart and perceptive, and she likes seeing people happy. Alex smiled, feeling the weight of anxiety lift. He realized that he didn't need to choose between them immediately. He had time, clarity, and now, most importantly, the ability to notice the people who truly mattered in his life. Over the next hour, they sat together, talking about everything and nothing: work, books, dreams, and the quiet moments that made life meaningful. Alex found himself more at ease than he had been in weeks. The human connection he shared with Alara felt natural, effortless, and profoundly real. As evening approached, Alex finally stood, stretching. I should probably get going, he said reluctantly. Alara's smile softened. I understand, but I'll see you soon, right? Yes, he said. Soon. Walking back to his apartment, Alex felt a mixture of excitement and wonder. He had spent so long chasing perfection, rehearsing conversations, and worrying about outcomes. And yet, the most meaningful connections, the ones that made him feel alive, had been there all along, quietly waiting to be recognized. He realized that being human wasn't just about navigating dates or social interactions. It was about noticing, caring, and embracing the subtle, delicate emotions that connected one person to another. It was about being present, attentive, and brave enough to acknowledge feelings, both in oneself and in others. And in that moment, Alex understood something important. The real HFY moment wasn't in mastering technology, following advice, or impressing others. It was in recognizing the humanity in the people around him, and allowing that humanity to touch his own heart. Later that night, Alex sat on his bed, staring at the ceiling. Thoughts of Mia and Alara danced together in his mind, intertwining and swirling with anticipation. He smiled. Life was complicated, messy, and beautiful all at once. but it was also filled with opportunities to connect, to understand, and to grow. And he was ready. The following days were a blur of anticipation, quiet reflection, and subtle excitement for Alex. He found himself thinking about both Mia and Alara, two people who had become unexpectedly important in his life. Mia, with her warmth, laughter, and shared love for small adventures, had made his heart race in a way he hadn't expected. And Alara, well, Alara had been there all along, observing, guiding, and quietly caring, her presence weaving into his life in ways he hadn't noticed until now. Alex knew he had to navigate this carefully. His emotions were messy, overlapping, and confusing, but he didn't want to rush. He wanted to honor both relationships, the blossoming romance with Mia and the deep, subtle connection with Alara. Thursday arrived faster than he expected. He checked his phone nervously before heading out to meet Mia again. The cafe had a slightly different feel this time. There was less anticipation, less anxiety, and more comfort. Alex had grown in confidence, thanks to Alara's guidance, but also through his own experiences. Mia waved as he approached. "Hey, Alex, I'm glad you came." "Me too," he replied with a smile. "I've been looking forward to this all week." They found a quiet table, and Alex immediately noticed how comfortable he felt around her. Conversation flowed naturally, covering books, movies, and favorite music. But he also noticed the small things he hadn't focused on before. The way her eyes crinkled when she laughed, the tilt of her head when she was curious, and the subtle gestures she made when she felt comfortable. It struck him. This was human connection at its finest. These details were small, seemingly insignificant, yet they created a bond that no algorithm or artificial simulation could replicate. As they walked through a nearby park later, the conversation became more personal. "You know, Alex," Mia said thoughtfully, "I really enjoy spending time with you. It's different from, well, different from other people I've met." Alex nodded, remembering the advice Alara had given him. Focus on attention, not perfection. "I feel the same way, Mia." "It's easy, natural. Being around you feels genuine," Mia smiled softly. "I like that. It's rare to feel genuine these days." The evening ended with a warm hug, a gesture full of comfort and connection. Alex walked home feeling content but also conflicted. His heart was full, yet he couldn't shake the thoughts of Alara, the subtle moments they had shared, the quiet affection she had shown, and the realization that she liked him too. Later that night, Alex decided to visit Alara's apartment again. He knocked softly and she answered almost immediately as if expecting him. "Hey," he said, smiling. "Can we talk?" "Of course," she replied, stepping aside to let him in. Once inside, they sat across from each other at her small dining table. Alex felt the weight of unspoken thoughts between them. Finally, he spoke. "Ilara, I've been thinking about you," he began. "About what you said the other day. I didn't realize it before, but I do now. I like you, more than just a neighbor or a friend. You've been there for me in ways I didn't even notice until recently." Alara's eyes softened, and a faint smile played on her lips. "Alex, I like you too. I've liked you for a long time. I just didn't know if you'd ever see me that way." The honesty of her words made Alex's heart swell. He realized that the connection they shared was different from any he had experienced with Mia or anyone else. It was quiet, steady, and deeply understanding. I want to be honest with you," he said carefully. "I like Mia too. She's amazing and I feel something real with her. But with you, it's different. It's deeper in a way I didn't understand before." Alara nodded, appreciating his honesty. "I understand, Alex, and I don't want to pressure you or rush anything. What matters is that you're aware of your feelings and that you're willing to think about what truly matters to you." They sat in silence for a moment, the room filled with a sense of calm understanding. Alex realized that human emotions were not meant to be simple or easily categorized. They were complex, overlapping, and sometimes confusing, but that complexity was what made them beautiful. I want to explore this, Alex said finally. Not just with Mia, but with you too. I want to understand my feelings, and I want to do it in a way that's honest and thoughtful. Alara reached out, lightly touching his hand. Then we'll do it together, step by step, without rushing. Humans are capable of so much, including understanding, patience, and connection. That's what makes us extraordinary. Her words resonated deeply with Alex. He realized that HFY moments weren't about heroics, technology, or achievements. They were about the ability to connect, empathize, and navigate the subtleties of human relationships. Over the next few days, Alex balanced his time between Mia and Alara, careful to maintain honesty and clarity. With Mia, he enjoyed spontaneous adventures, shared laughter, and light-hearted conversations. With Alara, he experienced quiet, meaningful moments, deep discussions, and emotional understanding that went beyond words. One evening, he found himself walking with Mia along a quiet city street. "Alex, can I ask you something?" she said. "Of course," he replied. "I can tell there's something on your mind. You seem thoughtful. Is everything okay?" Alex smiled gently. "I'm okay. Actually, I'm learning something important about myself, about feelings, connection, and noticing people. And part of that learning is realizing how amazing humans can be." Mia tilted her head, curious. "Humans can be amazing." "Yes," Alex said. "The way we care, empathize, and notice the little things, those moments are what matter most. And sometimes, those moments reveal unexpected truths about the people around us." Mia smiled knowingly, as if understanding something he hadn't said aloud. "I see. That's really thoughtful, Alex." Later that week, Alex spent an afternoon with Alara, working on a small project she had been developing, a personal assistant program designed to help humans notice the little details in life. As they collaborated, their hands brushed occasionally, and they shared quiet laughter. Alex realized that these small human interactions, touch, shared focus, playful teasing, were moments of profound connection. "Alara," he said softly, "thank you for being patient with me, for helping me see things clearly, for everything." Alara looked at him, her eyes warm. "You're welcome, Alex, and thank you for noticing. Not just me, but everything around you. That's the beauty of being human. You can see, care, and connect in ways no machine ever could." The evening ended with a quiet moment on her balcony, overlooking the city lights. Alex felt a sense of peace and understanding he had never known. Human connection, he realized, was not about perfection, control, or timing. It was about awareness, empathy, and the courage to embrace feelings as they came. As Alex walked home later that night, he reflected on the past week. He had learned something essential. Humans were capable of extraordinary acts of attention, care, and love. Technology, simulations, and advice could guide, but they could never replace the authenticity and depth of human connection. He smiled to himself, thinking of Mia and Alara, both of whom had become integral parts of his life in different but equally important ways. Life was not simple, and emotions were often messy, but the human capacity to navigate these complexities, to grow, and to connect, that was the true HFY essence. Standing in his apartment doorway, Alex took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his experiences and the excitement of what was to come. He understood now that being human meant noticing, caring, and embracing the unpredictability of relationships. And in that unpredictability, there was beauty, adventure, and the promise of meaningful connection. He smiled, ready for whatever the next day would bring, knowing that human ingenuity, empathy, and emotional intelligence were the forces guiding him forward. The weekend arrived with a golden sunlight that spilled into Alex's apartment, warming the small, familiar space. The city outside hummed with its usual rhythm, but inside, Alex felt a rare stillness, a clarity he hadn't experienced before. The past week had been a whirlwind of emotions, reflections, and realizations, and now he was ready to embrace what mattered most. He looked at his phone. Messages from both Mia and Alara greeted him, full of warmth and anticipation. Mia's note was simple, "Looking forward to seeing you today." Alara's was playful, "Don't be late. I have plans for us." Alex smiled. Life had become beautifully complex, but in a way that made him feel alive. He dressed carefully, not with perfection in mind, but with intention. A casual shirt, slightly rolled sleeves, and comfortable jeans, simple, human, approachable. He paused for a moment, taking a deep breath. Today wasn't about impressing anyone. It was about being present, authentic, and noticing the small, meaningful details that made life extraordinary. First, he met Mia at a small, charming cafe they had discovered earlier. She greeted him with her usual bright smile, and Alex felt a warmth bloom in his chest. They spent the morning walking through the nearby park, laughing at small observations and sharing stories. The connection felt effortless, as if the world around them slowed to allow space for genuine interaction. At one point, Mia stopped near a small fountain, the water shimmering under the sunlight. "Alex," she said softly, "I'm glad we met. It's not often you find someone who makes ordinary moments feel special." Alex smiled. "I feel the same way, Mia. It's the little things that matter. The smiles, the laughter, the quiet moments. That's what makes life meaningful." They sat on a bench, watching the reflections dance on the water, and Alex realized that HFY moments didn't need grand gestures or extraordinary events. They were in the subtle human interactions, the shared glances, gentle touches, and the understanding that two people could be present for each other without pretense. Later, Alex excused himself for a short while, saying he needed to check on something nearby. He walked across the street to Alara's apartment, a mix of excitement and nervousness coursing through him. She opened the door almost immediately, as if she had been waiting. "Alex," she said, her eyes lighting up, "I wasn't sure if you'd come." "I promised myself I would," he said, smiling. "I wanted to spend some time with you too. You've been important to me, Alara, and I don't want to overlook that." Alara stepped aside, allowing him in. The room was cozy, filled with the familiar hum of her experiments, books, and small personal touches that made it uniquely hers. They sat together at the balcony, overlooking the city, and Alex felt a profound calm in her presence. "Alara," he began, choosing his words carefully, "you've taught me something essential this week. That human connection, attention, and empathy are more powerful than anything else. You helped me realize that noticing the small things, being genuine and caring deeply, that's what truly matters." Alara's eyes softened. "And I've noticed you too, Alex. Not just the efforts, but the person you are, the genuine, thoughtful, human part of you. That's why I've cared about helping you." Alex reached out, gently taking her hand. The gesture was simple, human, and entirely unspoken in its meaning. Alara's fingers tightened around his slightly, a quiet acknowledgement of mutual understanding. Over the next few hours, they talked, laughed, and shared small moments, discussing books, hypothetical adventures, and dreams for the future. Alex realized that with Alara, time felt steady and meaningful. With Mia, life felt light, joyful, and full of spontaneous energy. Both were important, both were human, and both reflected different aspects of the richness life could offer. That evening, Alex returned to Mia, carrying a renewed sense of clarity. They shared dinner at a quiet, small restaurant, savoring the food and the ease of conversation. Alex found himself truly present, noticing the flicker of candlelight on Mia's hair, the warmth in her laughter, and the genuine joy that came from sharing ordinary moments together. "I like how calm and real you are," Mia said softly, reaching for his hand across the table. "It's rare to meet someone like that." Alex smiled, feeling a rush of gratitude for Alara's guidance. "I've learned from someone very special," he said. "Sometimes it takes noticing the right people to understand what matters." Mia nodded, sensing the depth behind his words. She didn't need to ask more. Human intuition allowed her to feel the sincerity behind his eyes. The next morning, Alex visited Alara again. They spent the day collaborating on her project, laughing at minor setbacks and celebrating small successes. The partnership between them, equal parts intellectual and emotional, was a reminder of what made humans extraordinary: the ability to work together, share joy, and create understanding. "Ilara," Alex said quietly, "I've realized something. Humans have this incredible gift. We notice, we care, we connect in ways no algorithm or machine can ever replicate. And that gift, it's what makes life meaningful. Being with you and sharing this, it's a reflection of that." Alara's eyes shimmered with emotion. "I feel the same way, Alex. That's why these moments matter. That's why we matter to each other." That night, Alex sat quietly in his apartment, reflecting on the past week. Life had unfolded in a way that was unexpected, complex, and beautiful. He had spent time with Mia, experiencing joy, spontaneity, and the simple pleasure of shared laughter. He had also spent time with Alara, discovering depth, understanding, and the quiet strength of human connection. He realized that HFY moments weren't about grand adventures or heroic feats. They were about noticing, caring, and embracing the emotional complexity that made humans extraordinary. It was in the laughter, the quiet touches, the understanding glances, and the courage to acknowledge feelings. That was the essence of being human. The next day, Alex invited both Mia and Alara to a small gathering at a local park. He wanted to share an experience that celebrated connection, attention, and the beauty of human moments. Mia arrived first, her laughter ringing in the open air, followed by Alara, her calm presence balancing the energy of the group. They spent the afternoon sharing stories, watching the sunset, and noticing small details in their surroundings. The way leaves shimmered in the golden light, the sound of distant birds, and the warmth of simple human presence. Alex realized that these small moments, unnoticed by many, were the true treasures of life. As night fell, the city lights reflecting in their eyes, Alex felt a sense of completeness. He had learned to navigate feelings, appreciate human subtlety, and embrace the richness of connection. With Mia, he experienced joy and spontaneity. With Alara, he experienced depth and understanding. Together, they reminded him of what made humans extraordinary: the ability to notice, care, and connect authentically. Alex looked at both of them, a quiet smile forming on his lips. "Thank you," he said softly, "for being here, for sharing this, and for reminding me what it means to be human." Mia smiled warmly. "We're grateful too, Alex, for your honesty, your presence, and your heart." Alara nodded, her eyes glinting with quiet pride, "and for recognizing the beauty of connection. That's the essence of humanity." The night ended with laughter, conversation, and a sense of shared understanding that went beyond words. Alex walked home under the starry sky, feeling the weight of the city's hum below him, but the lightness of human connection within him. He knew that life would continue to be complex and unpredictable, but now he carried with him the true power of being human: empathy, awareness, and the courage to embrace what truly mattered. As he closed the door to his apartment, Alex paused for a moment. He felt a sense of gratitude for the experiences he had lived through, for the people who had touched his life, and for the subtle, extraordinary moments that made humans remarkable. He realized that the journey was not about perfection, success, or control. It was about connection, attention, and the willingness to be fully present. With a contented sigh, Alex smiled. Life, with all its unpredictability, complexity, and beauty, was a testament to the extraordinary capacity of humans to care, love, and grow. And in that realization, he found a quiet, profound joy, one that no machine, app, or algorithm could ever replicate. The city continued its rhythm outside, but inside, Alex felt a calm certainty. He had discovered the essence of HFY moments: the brilliance of human empathy, the magic of connection, and the extraordinary beauty of noticing and embracing life fully. And with that, he knew that whatever the future held, with Mia, Alara, or the countless connections yet to come. He was ready to embrace it, fully human, fully alive, and fully capable of experiencing the wonder of life itself.